Hello, Whisperers. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy tonight's tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps more than you know. Now, dim the lights, and let's begin tonight's story. I should probably start by telling you my name, right? It feels rude otherwise. It's Daniel Weaver, 33, single, still renting the same cramped apartment I moved into right after college. I work remote IT support, one of those jobs where you're always logged in, but no one actually knows if you exist. Most nights I just sit here with my second-hand desk lamp buzzing, half-eaten takeout cartons around me, the TV muttering to itself in the corner. Nothing glamorous, nothing worth remembering, which is why I don't understand why it chose me. It started on a Tuesday night. No storms, no power outages, nothing out of the ordinary. Just me, folding cheap pizza into my mouth while refreshing emails I didn't care about. Then, this sound. At first, I thought it was an Amber Alert. You know, that shrill, grating tone that makes your stomach drop before you even read the text? Like the world just skipped a beat. Except it wasn't coming from my phone. It was coming from everywhere. The TV flickered off the sitcom rerun and filled with static. My phone lit up, vibrating hard enough to skitter across the table. Even my old tablet, the one I haven't charged in months, lit up with the same emergency banner. And then my laptop, my work laptop, forced itself awake and projected the same thing across the screen. Red block letters pulsed with each beep. Emergency broadcast. Enter the safe house. Survive 9 rooms. Do not look back. I just sat there, greasy crust in hand, blinking at it. Thought maybe it was some viral ad. Maybe my system had been hijacked. I started to laugh, but then the bathroom light flicked on by itself, and I swear I heard the pipes groan like something heavy was shifting in the walls. Then the air changed, like the room inhaled, cold, sterile, hospital air pushing in where stale heat should have been. That's when I saw it. Between the kitchen and the hallway, against the cracked white paint of my wall, there was a door. Not the one I'd always known. This one had a metal frame, heavy handle, and a hazard stripe across the bottom. It didn't belong here, not in my apartment, not anywhere. My brain flipped through excuses. Maybe I was dreaming. Maybe someone slipped something in the pizza. Maybe this was carbon monoxide poisoning. But the door waited, humming, almost vibrating. The broadcast voice hit then. It wasn't the robotic FEMA drone you'd expect. It was layered, like 10 voices reading in unison, half male, half female, too fast to process, almost a chant. It filled the apartment, coming out of every speaker, every device, until it wasn't sound anymore. It was inside my chest. Enter the safe house. Survive 9 rooms. Do not look back. I couldn't move at first. Couldn't breathe. My rational brain was screaming, don't touch it. Don't acknowledge it. Call someone. Anyone. But another part, the one that feels the heat of the stove before your hand touches it, knew it didn't matter. Nobody could help. The door was for me. I put my hand on the handle. It was ice cold, colder than any metal should be in a heated apartment. When I pulled it open, the stench hit me, bleach and rot. My eyes watered. The hallway beyond was lit by buzzing fluorescence, lined with hanging plastic sheets smeared with something brownish. A long gurney lay tilted against the wall, straps hanging loose, a black body bag spilling off it. The zipper twitched, and then I heard the PA system crackle alive overhead, a voice that wasn't human, flattened into a drone. Containment breach detected. Quarantine in effect. Do not remove your mask. Except I didn't have a mask. I turned back once, just once. My kitchen was gone. The pizza box, the desk lamp, the whole shabby comfort of my apartment had been erased. Behind me was only another steel wall, sealed and seamless. No way back, no escape, just me in the first room. The quarantine ward. The air in that hallway tasted like metal and mold. Every breath felt borrowed. I moved past the gurney, careful not to look at the twitching zipper. The plastic sheets brushed against me, damp, leaving streaks on my jacket like someone dragging wet fingers down my arm. Doors lined the corridor, each painted with peeling red crosses. Some were cracked open just enough to show shadows shifting inside. I didn't stop. I didn't even think about it. My feet carried me forward until I reached the next heavy steel door. There was no choice, no going back. When I pulled it open, the world hit me in the face. Heat, smoke, the roar of flames eating everything. I staggered back, but the door closed behind me before I could retreat. Suddenly, I was inside a stairwell wrapped in fire. The steps above had already collapsed, twisted into glowing rubble. The steps below were buried under flames. Only one path forward, up, toward a landing where the smoke shifted like a living thing. Each breath burned. My lungs screamed. I tore my hoodie sleeve across my mouth, trying to filter something out of the air, but it was like sucking down hot knives. Every few steps the walls shook, something massive collapsing deeper in the building. Then the shapes appeared. At first I thought they were people, trapped in the fire, reaching for me through the smoke. But their hands didn't blister. Their hair didn't burn. They just stood in the flames, moving toward me with that stuttering, jerky pace, like video buffering on bad internet. Every flicker brought them closer. I scrambled upward, shoulders slamming into the railing. The metal was so hot it seared my skin through the fabric. When I looked back, the figures were right there, arms outstretched, faces blank and featureless, bodies black with ash. I didn't think. I jumped through the fire at the top landing, rolled, and slammed into the next door. Cold silence. For half a second, I thought I'd escaped, but the smell hit me. Oil, rust, stagnant water. This room was different. I was standing on a subway platform, water up to my knees, the tiled walls slick with algae. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead, reflecting off the surface in broken patterns. A half-submerged train sat on the tracks, doors jammed half open like a broken jaw. The PA system crackled again, but now the voice was lower, warped, almost mocking. Flood emergency. Do not abandon the station. Remain calm. Calm? My teeth were already chattering from the sudden cold. I started wading, water dragging at my legs. Every step sent echoes bouncing through the tunnel. That's when I felt it. Something brushed my shin. Just a bump, quick, easy to dismiss. But then it circled back, pressing harder, scraping. The water rippled in rings that didn't match my movements. I froze. The surface shifted ahead of me. A bulge rose, as if something long and massive was swimming just beneath. I backed against the tiled wall, trying to stay above the water line. The current tugged, pulled, sucked at me like it wanted me deeper. The thing brushed me again, this time against my thigh. I nearly screamed. My foot slipped on the slick tiles, plunging me waist deep. Cold water surged into my hoodie pocket, dragging me down. And then something grabbed my ankle. I kicked, thrashing, slamming into the wall until the grip loosened. I didn't look down. I couldn't. I just threw myself toward the half-open train door and heaved inside. Inside was worse. The car was pitch dark except for the emergency strip lighting. The seats were empty but soaked. Every window was black with water pressing against it. I crawled through, chest heaving, until I saw the next door. Steel, hazard stripe, waiting. I didn't think, I didn't breathe. I just yanked it open and fell inside. The door sealed. The water smell vanished. But before I could move, every speaker around me crackled to life again. And this time, it wasn't some anonymous emergency tone. It was my name. Daniel Weaver. You have survived 3 rooms. 6 remain. Do not look back. My stomach dropped. My whole body went cold, colder than that water, because it didn't just say my name. It said it in my mother's voice. I didn't move for a long time. Just knelt there on the steel floor, dripping water, listening to the echo of her voice vanish into the walls. My mother's voice. She's been gone 7 years, but it came through crystal clear, carrying my full name like she was scolding me for something small. Dishes left in the sink, shoes kicked off by the door. The broadcast knew me. When I finally stood, the next door was already waiting. My body moved before my brain could argue. I pushed it open and stepped inside. Room 4 was the blackout mall. The smell hit first, stale air and perfume, dust and moldy popcorn, then the hum of a generator kicking somewhere out of sight. I was in a shopping mall, or the bones of one. The skylights were cracked, dripping water onto tiles that had lost their shine. Shops gaped open, dark and empty, mannequins frozen in glass displays like corpses waiting to be dressed. The only light came from a single emergency flood lamp on the floor. It strobed. Buzz, flash, dark. Buzz, flash, dark. Each blink carved the place into still frames. That's when I noticed something wrong. Every time the light flashed, the mannequins were closer. First, they were just in storefronts, plastic smiles, frozen poses. Then the light cut out, cut back, and 2 of them stood in the middle of the hallway, arms at their sides. Another flicker, and one was tilting its head toward me. Another, and its mouth was open just enough to show chipped white teeth. I bolted. My shoes slapped against the tiles, the sound carrying far too loudly, like the whole place was a throat, and I was running along its tongue. The mannequins didn't chase in the way you'd think. No clattering footsteps, no dramatic sprint. They just appeared closer with every flicker, like reality was on their side. At the far end, a steel door pulsed faintly with its hazard stripe. I lunged for it, slammed it shut behind me, and didn't breathe until silence fell. Room 5 was the house fire. The silence didn't last. Smoke crept under the edges of the new door before I even touched it. I gagged before I realized I'd opened it. I was standing in a hallway I knew too well. Patterned carpet, crooked picture frames, a nightlight shaped like a bear plugged into the wall. My childhood home, except it was burning. Flames licked the wallpaper, curling it into black scrolls. The stuffed dog I slept with when I was 6 sat in the corner, one eye melted, its fur catching fire. The air carried the sound of my father's cough, the one I hadn't heard since he died. This wasn't memory. It was theft. I ran past my old bedroom, choking on smoke. The door was half open, and I swore I saw a smaller version of myself curled under the bed, eyes wide, waiting for me to help. I didn't. I couldn't. I just kept going. At the end of the hall, the fire swelled into a wall, but the steel door glowed behind it. I threw myself through flames, skin blistering, the stink of my own burning hair choking me. The door slammed, sealing it away. I fell to my knees, sobbing, my throat raw. That house had caught fire once, when I was 8. Just a toaster, just a scorched kitchen, no one hurt. But the broadcast twisted it, made it worse, made it mine again. Room 6 was the hospital room. The next door opened with a hiss. White light. I was in a hospital ward. Sterile, too quiet. Machines humming faintly. A single bed in the center. I already knew who would be there. My mom. She lay in the bed, skin waxy, hair thinner than it had been in those last weeks. A nasal cannula looped under her nose, though the tank beside her was empty. Her chest didn't rise. The monitors around her beeped faintly. Then the flat line started, long and droning. Her eyes snapped open, and she smiled. "Daniel," she whispered, lips barely moving. "You're late." I stumbled back, nearly falling. The monitors spiked, beeping faster. Each sound synced perfectly to my heart hammering in my chest. Her hand twitched. She reached for me, nails too long, too black. "Stay." I bolted. I didn't care about the machines, about the cords ripping free, about the blood dripping down the IV stand. I tore the steel door open with both hands and hurled myself through. The slam behind me cut her off mid-word. I collapsed against the cold wall of the next hall, gasping. My shirt was damp with sweat and ash, my skin blistered red, throat raw from smoke and crying. This wasn't random. These weren't disasters for anyone. They were mine. The broadcast wasn't just showing me emergencies. It was showing me my emergencies. I couldn't stop shaking. My hands were blistered, throat raw, eyes burning from smoke that wasn't even real. Or maybe it was too real. Every time I thought I'd caught my breath, the speakers crackled again, waiting for the next order. The next door hissed. Room 7, the street riot. I stepped into a street at night. The air was thick with smoke and the stink of gasoline. Glass crunched under my shoes. Shouts rose all around me. Dozens of voices, angry, desperate, echoing off brick walls. I wasn't alone. Figures surged in and out of the haze. Some carried bats. Others hurled bottles that burst into fire. A car alarm wailed. Sirens cut through the chaos. But it was the faces that froze me. They didn't have any. Each head was smooth skin, featureless, like mannequins given muscle and heat. Yet somehow, when they turned, they saw me, their heads cocked like dogs catching a scent. You, one hissed, no mouth, no lips, just sound pouring out of blank skin. You don't belong here. I staggered back, but more of them appeared. They wore clothes I recognized, shirts from my high school, a jacket I swore belonged to my old neighbor, a hat from the hardware store near my apartment. My life stitched onto things that weren't people. The mob swelled. Hands grabbed at me, hot and slick, pulling, yanking. I swung, kicked, shoved, but they didn't break. They just pressed closer, faceless heads butting against me, voices chanting my name in 1,000 overlapping tones. Daniel Weaver. Daniel Weaver. Daniel Weaver. I screamed, forced my way through, and slammed against the steel door, nearly tearing the handle off. The mob surged forward as the door slammed shut. Silence. Room 8, the bedroom. When I turned, my stomach dropped. I was standing in my bedroom. Not some warped copy, my actual bedroom. Clothes on the chair, empty water bottle by the nightstand, the blinds drawn crooked the way I always left them. For a moment, relief almost drowned me. Home. I'd made it. Maybe this was the exit. Maybe it was done. Then I noticed the wrong things. The photo frame on my dresser. The picture was of me, but the smile was twisted too wide. The clock ticked backward, hands jerking. My phone on the nightstand lit up with missed calls, everyone from Mom. And then I looked at the mirror. I wasn't in it. Not at first. The glass showed my room, the bed, the blinds, empty. But as I stepped closer, something seeped into place. My reflection delayed, smiling when I wasn't. Its lips moved. My throat clenched. The voice came out of me. Not my reflection, not my head. Me. My mouth opened without my control, my own vocal cords tearing as the broadcast poured out. Daniel Weaver, you have survived 8 rooms. 1 remains. Do not look back. I clawed at my jaw, trying to shut it, but it wouldn't close until the words finished. Blood ran down my chin where my nails tore skin. In the mirror, my reflection didn't bleed. It just smiled wider. I stumbled backward, gasping, clutching the door handle like it was a lifeline. My bedroom, the real one, the only place that should have been safe, was a trap too. The house wasn't just showing me emergencies anymore. It was becoming me. I slammed the door shut and leaned against the cold metal, shaking, tasting iron on my tongue. 8 rooms done, 1 left. And I wasn't sure if I'd survive the last. The 9th door waited like it had been expecting me all along. I gripped the handle with shaking hands, every nerve screaming to stop, to wait, to breathe. But the house doesn't let you pause. It pulls you forward, always forward. The handle turned easier than it should have. The metal was warm this time, not ice cold, inviting. I stepped through. Daylight. It hit me like a drug. The first sunlight I'd seen since, I don't even know. A sky stretching pale blue, clouds drifting lazy and careless. I stood in the middle of a quiet suburban street, perfect asphalt, trimmed lawns, mailboxes standing straight, empty but not ruined, not burning, not flooding, not haunted, just quiet. My knees buckled. I dropped onto the pavement and laughed, raw and broken. Air filled my lungs without fire or ash or mold choking me. The silence wasn't suffocating. It was clean. I was out. I was done. Then the voice came again. Daniel Weaver, you have survived 9 rooms. Do not look back. It came from the sky this time, rolling across the clouds like thunder. The same layered chorus, low and heavy, vibrating my ribs. My body went rigid. Don't look back. That's all it said. That's all it ever said. I stared down the street. The horizon blurred into heat shimmer, but the exit safe zone sign gleamed white in the sun. All I had to do was walk. But you know how it is. You can't not think about it once it's in your head. Don't look back. Don't. So of course every part of me wanted to. I tried to keep walking, 1 step, 2, but my feet felt wrong, like the pavement was syrup dragging me down. My eyes watered, stung, and in that blur, I swear I saw shadows flickering behind me. I couldn't resist. I looked back. Behind me, the 9 rooms stretched in a chain, endless, stacked on each other like vertebrae. The quarantine ward, the burning stairwell, the subway drowning in black water, all of it piled high, endless corridors peeling open, repeating, repeating. And at the center of it all, something vast and formless leaned through the open doors. A tower of voices, a machine made of mouths, its body nothing but sirens and speaker grills, every face screaming in harmony. It saw me, it spoke through me. My mouth tore open, wider than it should, my throat locking into that chant I'd heard 100 times. Enter the safe house. Survive 9 rooms. Do not look back. I tried to fight, tried to shut it, but my jaw wasn't mine anymore. My hands weren't mine. The thing wasn't just behind the broadcast. It was in me now. I staggered forward, 1 step, 2, until the world folded. The houses, the lawns, the sky, all wiped clean. And then I was standing in my apartment again, takeout on the table, desk lamp buzzing, the TV muttering to itself like nothing had happened. Except I was still dripping water onto the carpet. My hands blistered, my throat raw. And when I turned, the steel door was gone. I sat down, tried to breathe, tried to tell myself it was over, that I'd survived. But then I heard it, a phone vibrating on the table. My phone. The screen lit up with a new message, not from a number I knew, just one line, pulsing with every buzz. Emergency broadcast received. Transmission active. Await further orders. I should have smashed the phone. I should have run. Instead, I smiled, not because I wanted to, but because something inside me did. And now I can't stop telling you. I can't stop spreading it. You heard me at the start. You know my name. Daniel Weaver. And if the broadcast reached me, it'll reach you too.